Um, so we are the end of Asara B'Tevet, so it's already 11, I guess, in Tevet, Tafshin Pei. And we're studying the book of Shmuel I, chapter 19, verse 7. Just as a introduction as to what where we stand. So David married Shaul's daughter after killing Goliath, and he became the son-in-law. And however, Shaul is jealous of him. He feels that he's afraid more than jealous. He's afraid that he's the one that's going on to unseat him, which obviously going to happen, but he sensed it. And in those days, changing kings involved killing the entire family of the previous king. So he's just afraid for his life and for his family's life, and he is not interested. So he, after the great win, he took David in and made him part of the advisors, part of the palace staff. And then very quickly he saw that he's too successful, so he demoted him and sent him to the war to be a platoon commander, hoping that the Philistines are going to do the job for him and kill him in the war. And then just to taunt the Philistines and get them upset with David specifically, he enticed David to marry his daughter on account of killing killing and mutilating 100 Philistines. So David, in order to show his loyalty, he's going and doing it for 200 Philistines. Killed 200 Philistines, mutilated their bodies, cut their, and hand it over to the king as a proof that it's 100 soldiers, male soldiers that he killed. And then he married the daughter. But then he's still not, Shaul is not happy, and he's seeking to kill David. He just want to get rid of him. Now in those days, it was almost as easy as today. You make up evidence, you get the committees together, you have impeachment hearings, and you hang the guy. That's basically what they would do. What he was trying to do. So his son, Yonatan, who is a very good friend of David, a fan, not only a friend, a big fan of David, struck a covenant with David that he's going to help him whenever possible and, will be behind him, which eventually causes his father Saul to tell him, Yonatan, that he's not a good son because he's betraying him for David. But for now, at this point in time, Yonatan is still trying to persuade his father from killing David. So he told him, what do you care? The guy's crazy. Who would let not care about his life so much and go for try to attack a monster like Goliath? How would that who would do that? So he's really crazy, but he's crazy good for you. Yeah.
I know I missed the last 2 classes. I'm sorry, but I thought Shmuel was like a decent guy. Shaul. Decent guy, and
yes.
Now you're talking about he's
Yeah. Shaul was the most qualified guy to be a king, except that God, when he didn't do what was expected of him, God took the power from him and told Shmuel to find David and anoint David with the power. Now there is like one spirit of a king available at the time. So what happened was something that came into Saul earlier, the strength, the spirit, the special thing that he had was taken away. So he felt empty inside, and he felt lost, as if his soul is rattling inside him. That he's not full anymore, and he became depressed, melancholy. He became officially depressed. The text is telling us, the Tanakh is telling us, he became depressed, and it's being expressed as ruach ra'ah. There was a bad wind that went into him. And when a bad wind goes into someone, they do things that they're not, he's not responsible, so to speak. It's not him. It's the bad wind that was causing it. So that's what happened now. So he took, Yonatan took Saul aside in the field and told him, listen, it's to your advantage to keep David. When you talk sense to someone like that, they understand. They agree with you. And he swore, Chai Hashem, he's not going to be killed, not by me and not by my messengers. He swore. And we'll see 2 sentences later, he flipped again because another ruach ra'ah, another wind that of melancholy, another wave of depression hits him, and he just cannot control himself, and he goes against his better judgment. So Yonatan, after talking Saul, his father, out of killing David right away, and also, by the way, one of the claims that Yonatan surfaced was the fact that everybody likes David, that it's good for the people. You're the king. You can do whatever you want, basically. So you'll take out the guy, but then the people are not going to be happy with you. So it's going to hurt you. Not only that the benefit is going to stop, you're going to be hurt by taking David out. So, and then, so we are on Zayin, on so the 7th verse. Vayikra Yonatan leDavid, vayaged lo Yonatan. So Yonatan called David and tells him, et kol hadvarim haele, everything that transpired between him and his father. Do you have it?
Yeah. Show me where I am. We're in page 125. 124. 124.
7.
Okay.
7. So you can follow on the other side.
All right, thank you.
All right. ויעבר יונתן את דוד אל שאול, ויהי לפניו כתמול שלשום. So he basically mediating the problem. He went to the field, spoke to Saul. Saul swore he's not going to kill David. He goes back to David, a shuttle job, shuttle diplomacy, right? Goes back to David, tells him everything is good. You can come back to the palace. You're not going to be killed. And then David continues to serve Shaul like, time immemorial, which basically was in the past few months. He was playing for him and helping him with advice, etc. Now, as we mentioned before, part of what Saul did before is to make David kill 100 Philistines, and he killed 200, and then the Philistines hates him. So the Philistines are looking to avenge the blood. The Philistines are looking they don't care about the peace between Saul and David. They want the pound of flesh. So they vatosefa milchama liot. So the war that started from the time of Goliath, and there were many other battles after Goliath, small skirmishes, small battles that David led and always won. And now they threw into the fight a lot more in order to retaliate. So the war continued, and David, as the hand of God is with David always, vayetze David vayilachem b'plishtim. So David goes out and fights back. Vayach b'hem maka gdola vayanusu mipanav, and he smite them, and they are running away from him. So again, one more medal of honor, one more win, one more feather on his cap, And so that gets Shaul automatically more upset. I got the Philistines upset with you, and they had all of the targets on your forehead, and you won. So enrages him more. Vati ruach ra'ah el Shaul. So again, that wind of melancholy, the depression hits him again. The bad spirit hits him again. Vehu bebeito. And it happens in various places. You know, when depression comes in, you don't know when the attack will happen. Now it happened in his house, in the palace. And who is in the palace with him? David. And what David's doing? David is playing in front of him, right? So he was sitting at home, and now, usually when someone walks around at home, how many times did you hold your spear when you were walking around home? You know, not often, right? But now he's walking around with a spear in his hand.
I don't play the harp either.
Yeah, well, the harp at least, it's some people do, but I don't think anybody in New Jersey walking around with a spear in the house. So now he's walking around with a spear, which is a red flag to David. This is the second time that David is alone with Saul in the house. The first time, David was playing and he didn't pay attention. He didn't see. He wasn't. Shaul was not walking around with a spear, but he took the spear as David was engrossed in playing. He took the spear and tried to play target practice. And by mistake, maybe I'll hit him. And as he was playing, he moved to the right, and the spear goes on the right side. He moved to the left, and the spear. So he sort of missed it inadvertently. But he knew that something like that happened. Obviously, when a spear hit the wall, you see that that's what happened. But he figured it's a mistake. But now, after knowing that Saul is after him, and he is alone with him, and he's walking with the spear, and the guy obviously is upset. You see that he has a bad spirit walking around his, on his face. So David was now alerted. Okay, ויבקש שאול להכות בחנית בדוד ובקיר. So the first time it happened, Shaul said, let me have some target shots, and by mistake maybe. And now he was walking around with a spear, and he meant for it to happen. He said, let me just hit this guy and nail him to the wall, literally. Spear David, then the wall, nail David to the wall. That's what he meant to do. Now, David is alert, and ויפטר מפני Shaul. So as the spear is leaving the hand of Saul, David takes off and runs away. ויפטר מפני Shaul. And then, as like in the good movie, as he moves away, bam, the spear hits the wall. ויח את החנית בקיר. So the spear hit the wall, and that is really probably the last time that they will be in peace together in any sort of, where David is playing in front of him. That's not happening anymore. ודוד נס וימלט. So, and then David ran away. Now, in the next few verses, we are going to see several words that's being used for run away. And there are various different running away. There is run away, which we see here, the first word nas. Runs away means when you have someone very close to you. Somebody is chasing you with a spear in the same room, So you run away. The same thing that happened to Yosef in Mitzrayim, when the wife of Potiphar was after him. Vayanas. He ran away from her. She was trying to catch him. So in the same vicinity, the same room. So that's nas, run away, nas. And then Vaimalet, it's also run away, but that's already further. When someone, Limalet is when you don't see the actual attackers, but you're just running to the next town, further away. That's Vaimalet. Vaimalet balaylahu. So where did he go? He went home. He went home to his wife, to the daughter of Saul, right? Thinking that, again, it might have been again a fluke, that Saul is upset, and it will pass in the morning. He'll go to sleep, we'll wake up better. So he doesn't run away further than the house, which happens to be in the same town, because now that he is the son-in-law of the king, they live in the same vicinity. Saul is not giving up, and now he's getting other people involved. Vaishlach Shaul Malachim. So he sends messengers, guards, El Beit David, to the house of David, because that's where David went. Leshomro ve'la'amito baboker, to guard him and to kill him in the morning. This is weird. Why are you not allowed to kill at night? What's the problem? Why not kill him right away? So Saul, the words of Yonatan were ringing in Saul's mind. The people are not going to be happy. You cannot just take a person off the street who's popular, has a lot of Twitter followers, and just kill him like that. You need a reason. So he said, okay, let me figure out a reason. I'll figure out some sort of I'll invent something. But in the meantime, I don't want him to run away, because he tends to do that when I try to kill him. So he sent guards. The thinking was as follows. If he's going to run away from the guards, you ran away from coming to the king, that's in and of itself an infraction that we can hang you for. And if he will not, and people say, he didn't run away, that's not a brownie point to David, because there were guards, so that's why he didn't run away. It's not that he's righteous that he didn't run away, he just couldn't. But he wanted to, but he could. So, and then in the morning he will figure out something and try to kill David and take him out. So he sent those guards. So ותגד לדוד מיכל אשתו. Now his daughter is David's wife, Michal, the daughter of Shaul. She realized what's going on here, and she knew her father very well, and she figured that this is not a safe house anymore. So she told him, if you don't run away, and this run away again is run away far, right? If you don't run away far tonight, tomorrow you will be executed. So what does she do as a good wife? She puts together some sort of a rope. Vatored Michal et David ba'ad hachalon, and she sent him out from the window. I don't know, the second floor, the third floor, the first floor, but she got him out of the window. Vayelech, vayivrach, vayimalet. So now, which window? So the rabbis are saying that there were two doors. According to one opinion, there were two doors. There was the main door and there was the back door. The guards didn't know about the back door. They were just in the front door, so he went out of the back. And some say that there was no back door, but there was a window, so the window is a real window like we have. Anyway, what does it mean, vayelech? When someone has guards outside the house.
It says ba'ad hachalon, so why are they thinking about a door?
What?
It says ba'ad hachalon.
Right.
Who needs the...
Rabavau says that there was no chalon over there. There was two doors. That's the explanation of Rabavau. I don't know why. It's a good question, but that's...
Why would you come to explain that there were two doors if it says...
Ba'ad hachalon,
from a window.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. It's I'll look into that. I didn't... Anyway, so when someone has guards in the front door, and they coming from the side or from the back door, somehow escaping, they can't run away because it's going to make noise. So that's why it says vayelech. He walked away. Now, after he walked away, vayivrach. Vayivrach is another third word that we're mentioning here about running away. And vayivrach means that he needed to hide. Like, if you recall, there was the organization in Europe after the Second World War that helped sneaking Jews out of territories that were under Russia and before that Germany, but Russia, and to get them out. It's called the bricha. That's the organization is called the bricha, running away, and they would go. They would print falsified documents, and they would get people from all kinds of back doors and back rooms and back trains. So that's bricha means when you're figuring out how to really hide, not just running on the main road, but running fast, but hiding as you're running. So that's vayivrach. Vayimalet, again, as we said before, going away far. Vatikach Michal. Now Michal is sort of stuck because she wants to buy time for her husband to run as far as possible. So Vatikach Michal et trafim. So she took the trafim. In a second we'll talk about what trafim is. ותשם על המיטה ואת כביר העזים שמה מראשותיו ותחז בבגד. She basically put together something that looks like a human being and covered him with a blanket. And that's my husband. He's sick. He's not feeling well. Don't just leave him alone. What is trafim? And so when the guards will come in to take him, they'll see that he is sick and the body, and they'll leave. Maybe. Trafim, we see the first time the word trafim when Rachel, what? Lavan, right? Rachel stole the gods, the idols of Lavan, right? When she left, that's called the trafim. She stole his gods and she put them under her seat, and Lavan was chasing supposedly to look for it, and that's when Yaakov said, whoever stole those, the trafim, are going to die. And indeed, Rachel dies shortly thereafter, because he didn't know. So trafim is idol worship, right? So what does idol worship pieces are doing in Michal's and David's home? Very strange. So the rabbis are explaining what trafim is. Trafim really is not the meaning of idol worship. Trafim is a bust, a head.
Oh.
Okay, it's a statue of a head of a person. Now the question is what you're using it for. Lavan used it as an idol worship material, as a god. And there are people today in some countries that still, create busts and use them as was in Taiwan, and they have these kind of idols. But some people, some wives, because they didn't have in those days a way to take a picture, and to paint the picture was, I guess, expensive, so they would hire someone to make a bust of their husbands and put that in the house, so she can, when the husband is traveling, she can see him as a memory. So some rabbis said that this is what the trafim were, that she loved him so much that she made a bust, and that was and it makes sense. And then she put that thing in bed, and they didn't have such good lighting like here. And on the head of the bust, she put some kvirizim, which is the hide of a lamb, of a sheep, and it looks like hair. He was a redhead, so it was light. And in those days, that was enough to fool someone, and here's my husband is right there. Now, some say that the trafim were more than that they were a way to predict the future. That he used it as, it wasn't a bust, it was some sort of a copper plate that being used in some dark magic or some magic, some ways to predict the future that was commonly used in those days. And
it's against halacha.
Obviously, that what he did was not against halacha, but it's possible. That is the type of thing that you can find in some places. I'm not talking about magic that's not allowed, but some prediction of some events. I don't know exactly, but that's how they presented. And what they said, she would say, because That's why she used it as a cover on the bed. Because he has this plate, he knew that you're going to kill him, that you're going to look for him. That's why he ran away. She was trying to avert the disaster of them knowing that she did it all. So she put something. You see, he guessed the future using this trafim thingy. So maybe it was even someone that belonged something that belonged to a mate of theirs. Not necessarily theirs. But I like what's the bust is what made most sense to me. But so she make believe that he's on the bed and covered up, and then he had those two guards in front of the house, and then other guards came. וישלח שאול מלאכים. So other guards came לקחת את דוד, to take David. So when they knock on the door and they say, "Where is your husband? We want to summon him to the king." ותאמר חולהו. She said, "He's sick, he's in bed." Here, you see the bed? וישלח שאול את המלאכים לראות את דוד לאמור, עלו אותו במיטה אליי לעמיתו. So then, now that he refused to go to the king, now Shaul has a reason to kill him. I called you and you didn't want to come. This is what they did to Vashti, right? Achashverosh called Vashti. Vashti said, "I don't want to come." She's dead. Voila! This is a good mechanism to get rid of David. So he sends more people to see him and to bring him in with the bed. He's sick. Bring the bed. If we would need to bring the whole house, the town, bring him all in. I'm going to kill him now. ויבואו המלאכים והנה הטרפים על המיטה והחביר העזים מראשותיו. And so they came, and then she said he's sick, and they said, "No, we don't care, we need him." And they see that it's a bust, and the bust has on the head it has the piece of hide, the piece of skin with the fur, and so he's not there. So then they brought her to her father, to Shaul. Now you're having a problem. So Vatomer Shaul and Michal. So Michal told Shaul, her father. So Shaul, I'm sorry. So Shaul tells Michal, what did you do? Lama kacha rimitani? Why did you fool me? How come you fooled me? You know that you're my daughter. I mean, are you with me or against me? ותשלחי את אויבי וימלט, and you sent my arch enemy. Now he's officially my enemy. Until now he was hiding, he was thinking. Now he's talking as if he's the enemy. This is it. The decree is out and the hunt is on. So how come you let him run? ותאמר מיכל אל שאול, הוא אמר אליי שלחני, למה עמיתך? So Michal is telling her father, he was threatening me. He told me, "I'm going to kill you." So I had to. Sorry, Daddy. Why did she put the trafim and told the story? It doesn't matter, but
Sound the alarm.
Yeah. It's a lot of questions, but he threatened me. I was afraid. ודוד ברח וימלט. So now David is not vayanas because it's not close. Barach, he was looking for hideaways and back roads. He wouldn't go through the main road, and Vaimalet, and he ran away. And where did he go? The only other place he can go. He can go home, but then his Shaul is going to go and kill his whole family. So he wanted to distance himself from his family because he knew that they're just going to suffer for nothing. So the only other home in the entire universe that he felt that he can go run to is Shmuel, because Shmuel got him into this mess. Shmuel, he knew that he is a king, right? And he knew that now Shaul is a king, but God chose, he knew all of that. So you know that he's in deep trouble right now with and it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. So he went back to he went to Shmuel Haramata. Shmuel, as you recall, refused already at that time to see Shaul because Shaul was not following his orders. But Shmuel was still functioning. He sort of was, I think, in his retired stage. the last year of his life, he was not. He was just there, but he's not. He was not a judge. He was not. Shaul. As soon as Shaul became a king, he sort of stepped back. So David comes to Shaul, to Shmuel, ויגד לו את כל אשר עשה לשאול, and he told him the whole story. And וילכו ושמואל וישבו בניות. All right, so now this is a very interesting. So what does he do? What does Shmuel and David do when there is trouble? They go sit in Nayot. What is Nayot? So the Rashi says that Nayot is a yeshiva. That Shmuel, like any other good judge, any other good rabbi, would have a yeshiva. And in his yeshiva, it was a yeshiva for prophets. Okay? It was the higher academy, the rabbinical academy for prophets of Israel, you know? And that was, that's sort of what he did. That was his job now. So Shmuel and David went to the yeshiva to sit there. What did they learn? Okay, and that is very interesting. There is a whole discussion in the Gemara discussing what they learned. So the rabbis are saying that they learned where should Bet HaMikdash be built, because we are in an interim situation, in an interim stage. For 390 years, the tabernacle / temple, but it was sort of half a building, was standing in Shiloh. And then it was destroyed, captured, the ark was captured. So it was moved to Kiryat Yearim. It was moved and then it moved to several other places. The bottom line is that it was obviously a temporary place. And we needed a permanent place. So Shaul and David were discussing where the permanent place is. And that is what they said, Benayot, Bnuyot. Where should we build? Where should we build the Bet HaMikdash? Now, just as a sort of intro for the future when we learn it, David at the end of his life, he didn't know where the Bet HaMikdash should be until almost the end of his life. If you recall, there is, at the beginning of the book of Kings says, Shmuel Bet maybe? Shmuel Bet. It says that David it was very cold and he couldn't get warm. What happened? He saw something that took the warmth of the blood out of him and kept him in a constant trembling state.
When he was old?
What? Yes. Yeah.
והמלך
David zaken ba bayamim ve'lo yecham lo, right? He was cold. What happened? Right before that, there was a plague that was plaguing Am Yisrael. Why? We'll talk about it when we get there. But the plague stopped. The plague would sort of go in order, you know, and will like a wave. And the plague stopped on Temple Mount, on Har HaBayit, on that spot. And David saw it, and he saw the malach that brings the plague, and that's how we knew that place is not untouchable. And that's what he, you know, that's how we knew. But that happened 4 years later, or 39 years, several years later. For now, he was busy, as he was running away for his life, he was busy to figure out where the Bet HaMikdash be. That's incredible, right? You know what? If someone is running away, that's what they're thinking. That's what they're busy with. So it's commonly known, said by many, that a lot of our greats did a lot of their best work when they were under stress, pressure, difficult circumstance. The Rambam was always running away. People were trying to kill him. He was trying to, until he got to Egypt, and over there he became, the doctor of the king, of the pharaoh, whatever, the ruler there. But a lot of his writing his best work was done before that when he was running away. And so in Europe, during the Crusades, you have a lot of good stuff written when people are in distress, unfortunately. So that's what he did. He was sitting with Shmuel and was trying to figure out where the Bet HaMikdash should be built. Now Shaul had a very good network of informants. ויוגד לשאול לאמור הנה דוד בניות ברמה. So Shaul was told that David is sitting in that yeshiva of Shmuel in the Ramah, and that's where he is. So וישלח שאול מלאכים לקחת את דוד. So he is not giving up. Shaul is trying to capture David, to arrest him. So he sends again a bunch of messengers and guards to take him. וירא את להקת הנביאים ניבאים ושמואל עומד ניצב עליהם ותהי על מלאכי שאול רוח אלוקים ויתנבאו גם הם. That's a very complicated, long sentence. Let's take it apart. So, as we said before, what was that yeshiva? That yeshiva was the prophecy yeshiva, right? The yeshiva for prophets. And as such, you had a lot of prophets over there. Lehaka means a group, right? In modern Hebrew, lehaka means like a singing group, But in biblical Hebrew, there are several words that you can write in two different ways, like keves, which is a lamb, right? And kesev. You just the same letters, you're just switching, right? It's the same thing. Here is lehaka and kehila, a community of prophets. So Saul sends his guards and to bring David, and they go to where? To the Academy of Prophecy, and they see the community of the prophets. At one point earlier, there was mentioned the language Chevel HaNevi'im, a group of Nevi'im. And that Chevel means a smaller group of prophets. Here is like the whole community. So you see all of the Nevi'im Nibaim. What does it mean Nibaim? The prophesizing. What is prophesizing? And what is Shmuel Omed Nitzav Aleim? Shmuel is standing over them and sort of conducting the prophecy. What does it mean? Shmuel was the second most important prophet we have. The top one was Moshe, and Shmuel was the second most important. Why was he second most important? Because he came on board at the end of the era of the judges, and he started the era of the prophets. Some of the judges were prophets too, but that wasn't their main function. The main function was to judge. Here, the leaders are prophets. This is like a job. You have, accounting 101, you have prophecy 101.
Devorah is referred to
Devorah?
is referred to Hanaviah.
Exactly. Dvorah is referred to as Dvorah Nevi'ah because Nevi'im existed before. It wasn't a trade that, it's not that Moshe lived 1,000 years earlier. He existed, right? 500 years earlier. But the point is that he started it as an organized way of training people to accept this kind of influence from God. What is prophecy? Prophecy is when it's like you take a person and plug him into high voltage, They suddenly get a vision. They get some sort of a revelation that they're not used to before. And they see it, and they get, and that revelation is taking their entire persona. It's taking him so strongly that they lose their faculties. They're not able to speak. They're not able to stand. They're not able. Some do stand. Some walk around. They look like crazy people. They look like, they call the Nevi'im, the prophets, are sometimes called Meshugaim, crazies. because that's how they act. They act like crazy people because
Holy rollers.
holy rollers. There you go. So Shmuel started this way of living, and he was the one that opened up the floodgates for people to know what they need to do in order to rise to that level of a prophet, which is a learnable trait. You can. There are lists now. If you do this, that, and that, 48 things, then you can become a prophet. I read the first 3 and I say I'll take my chances.
People go out into the countryside.
So later on, they became for the training time they stayed, and then they went to the countryside and became and prophesied exactly. Now, because we had a lot of prophets, what was the idea there? That they will know what's right. They'll know right from wrong. They will know how to direct people, how to conduct people. So if you want to know what did I do wrong, you go to a prophet, and they'll prophesize for you, and then you'll know how to fix it. Those prophets, you had thousands of them. They're not documented because they were not important for generations. They were important then. But Shmuel started this whole thing. So he was in the middle of a session of a prophecy there. He was standing upon them, and so what happens is, when this kind of revelation comes down from heaven, there are some unintended consequences. If you have someone who's there and not prepared for it, they get caught in the excitement. So that's what happened to those guards. The guard shows up to an event, to a closed door event that was only for prophets, and suddenly they get this prophecy laying on their head, and they became a low level of prophets because they didn't prepare themselves. They prepared themselves to be guards, right? But nonetheless, because Shmuel was able to control this enormous spiritual event, he was able to sort of pour, when you pour Gatorade and it splashes. So they got some of the mist and what?
Osmosis.
Right, exactly. And they also started prophesizing. So it was told to Shaul that your guards are sort of not doing their job. So he sent other guards. וישלח מלאכים אחרים. ויתנבאו גם הם. So they also happened to them too. ויאסף שאול וישלח מלאכים שלישיים ויתנבאו גם הם. And he sent the third group. And it also got caught in the... וילך גם הוא הרמתה. And then he also came. ויבוא עד בור גדול אשר בשיחו. וישאל ואמר איפה שמואל ודוד ויאמר בניות ברמה. So he also goes in, but then he goes cautiously. He starts asking where they are, hoping that the session will be over, Shaul will go home, Shmuel will go home, and then he will be able to go capture David. He was also sort of avoiding or trying to avoid touching David in front of Shmuel. It's not, it ain't fitting, it's not right. He felt embarrassed. So he was trying to see where Shmuel is. Maybe Shmuel went home. So that's why he stopped before in this place that has a big pit and Besecho, right? And he's asking where they are. And so they told him, listen, he's still in yeshiva. He's still there. He's still doing his thing. וילך שם אל ניות ברמה ותהיה עליו גם הוא רוח אלוקים וילך הלוך ויתנבא עד בו בניות ברמה. So now, when you are primed to be a prophet, you have more sensitivity to it. He had more sensitivity to it because he was prophesying before Saul. Before he became king, he was prophesying, right? As soon as, right after he was anointed, actually, before in private, he became a prophet, right? So he was primed to do it. When he was primed to do it, he started prophesizing not when he got to yeshiva, but when he was a little further away, because he was able, his receivers, right? He was very sensitive to it, and he started prophesying, half a mile before, and by the time he got there, he was fully in the act, fully in the mode, exactly. What happened? ויפשוט גם הוא בגדיו, and then he got undressed. ויתנבא גם הוא לפני שמואל, and he also prophesied, ויפול ערום כל היום ההוא, and he was walking around naked this whole day, וכל הלילה, and the whole night. על כן יאמרו גם שאול בנביאים. So there is this saying, which we mentioned before, a while back, Shaul is also a prophet. What happened? Why did he have to take his clothing off? How do we experience things? How do we experience Torah? How do you experience anything? With our faculties, which are the brain, the machshava, the dibur, the speaking, and the maaseh, and the doing. This is how we're experiencing the world, right? When someone is prophesying, it overrides all of those faculties, and all of those faculties are becoming moot and what? Secondary and disabled. Now those faculties, machshava, dibur, maaseh, the thinking, the doing, and the speaking, to the soul is like clothing to the body. Because your soul is expressed itself with your thoughts, with your speech, right? With your deeds. That's how you express yourself. So it's like that's your clothing, that's how you're being viewed. So when those things are overridden, you don't need your clothes, your bodily clothes either. So and also he was walking around with royal clothing, which were heavy and expensive, and so he just took him off and was walking around prophesying, and that is the end of that, the second attempt of him to capture David. We'll see later David is running away, and